Welcome to the Grinning God vodcast. Glad you guys could join with us. We'll give you some awesome updates and tell you where we're at with the Kickstarter. Beasts of the Dissonance, Volume 1. Kurt, what's our current status?
So the current status on we'll talk through the bestiary, the leisure class. I think Dave's going to talk a little bit to that regard, and then the short story we'll have you talk about today. But the bestiary, super excited to say that we have 52 creatures that are currently being evaluated and edited by some professionals. I'm really excited to see how these monsters have come together. We all went through it for a third or fourth time, maybe, making sure from a mechanical perspective it did match what 5E's structure is. So feeling real good about that and the uniqueness and the versatility of these creatures and bringing them to your games, whether they're 5E or from the dark sky setting. So on track for edits and real excited to see what we hear back from some professional feedback. Dave, why don't you give us an update on the leisure class?
Yeah, so we've made a lot of progress with the class. It's currently being edited right now, and so it's really getting tuned up. It's gone through lots of play testing. A lot of we found that the class really was a good. It worked well with other classes that we saw. At times where it was, was it overpowered in certain things? Was it underpowered in other things? And how do we make it something that's a class that someone wants to use not only in combat but also has a lot of RP capabilities? And so, a couple of cool things we did is we found that at level 2 is when you get to introduced into you're selecting your subclass within the leisure disciplines, and you get a companion that the way that at least it's described is that you have this other realm, and that these creatures are always constantly hunting you, but the little ones at times are also hunting you, and they're able to get through the cracks of the dissonance at times, and it's a smaller quarter CR rating companion, but it creeps its way through the dissonance, and you get that companion with you that not only is it able to, in combat, it can take your action if you want it to, but outside of combat, it can play a lot of roles and it has its own unique abilities as well. A lot of RP capabilities. It can attack. It's not very strong, but I thought it was a very dynamic use, and kind of took some of the good of some other classic abilities and spells within D&D, but has a new spin to it.
I think that companion's really cool, Dave, because it's essentially the first step as you choose your subclass, and so you're essentially choosing your ilk at that point, and so the companion mirrors what flavor of ilk you choose. So it worked out really well. I think it'll be really cool. These little creatures essentially are the idea of what the ilk are. So you've got the aggressive ones, or the kind of the stealthy ones, and they just fit really well. So I thought that was really cool. If you don't have anything else further to say on the class, I'll jump into the short story progress.
No, I think that's fine. I guess the only other thing to add is that all the play testing, we found it to be very balanced.
Yeah.
And we found that a lot of the subclass abilities are going to create a lot of unique flavors. And so when people get to level 2 and they choose the journey that they're going on, it's really going to change their character, really dynamically. And so I think that'll be fun for people. The heightened class was pretty unique. and the fact that you start to take on some of the abilities of the creature that you basically harvest,
Yeah.
which was a unique play on kind of more of a gruesome version of the ilk and the class subclasses, but just some really unique things. I think people are going to enjoy seeing the creativity, and again, we felt like the play testing has shown, where we had some holes in some things. We think we patched them up really nicely, and for the most part, we felt it complemented the other classes really well. So
Yeah, I think it'll be loads of fun. People will have fun with it. Short story, the status on that is really well. I think last time we actually mentioned that we had it, all done. So this is like version 2, all done. We had all our alpha readers give it a good read, picked out any issues we thought we had there. It's been combed through. Like we have looked over this very thoroughly, and then just to cap it all off, we got professional editor to come in and give it a real good look. From what I hear, I haven't spoken with him directly, but it sounds like he gave pretty high praise to it. So that was awesome.
Yeah, he didn't not too much red ink on it.
Yeah.
But it definitely every word that's going to be in this book though is touching, and going through the editing process with a professional editor, and so it's everything's getting fine tuned.
Yeah, this particular editor, that's a good point. This particular editor, I guess, is just tied to an author that I personally, I'm excited about. So that's a good call out. So that's status of the short story. It's pretty much right there. This is the final pass on edits. Then once we go in and make those corrections, that's it. It's done. It's ready. Of course, we're going to fit this in with Beasts of the Dissonance. So there will be a little bit of that formatting phase where we got to put it in with everything else. But we've got a good process down for that, so no problems there.
So speaking of formatting and having all this together, I know some individuals had been asking for an update in regards to fulfillment and the status of that, which I think everyone's really curious about. So question for you, Lauren, how do we feel about some of our deadlines?
I think we're looking really good. We're tight. We picked a really good deadline because we're maxing out our time, but we're looking really good. We'll make it. So October was our goal, and we will get it to you in October. I'll withhold whether that's early, middle, or late, but October.
And that's to clarify for the October deadline. That is our digital PDF of Beasts of the Dissonance Volume 1 and the STLs. Am I missing anything else?
Just to carry on with the thoroughness, that will include all digital stretch goals. So any STLs that we're getting through stretch goals will be included in that. Any digital content will be included in that. And then as far as the physical material, so books, things like that, once we hit this point with the digital content, we will then be able to take it and bring it to the printers to have it printed and published. And then it kind of goes out of our hands from there to a degree, in that we have to wait for it to get printed, and then after it's all ready, we'll have our fulfillment counterparts work on packaging it and then shipping it to you. So.
And we'll have better updates for those things when it gets closer. Obviously, October's right around the corner, and so over the next video or the following, we'll have great updates on all those things, on the physical fulfillment.
Yeah. Well, I think we're at the point where we share one thing that we're excited about. I'll go ahead and start off. Personally, I'm really excited to see all the content in one place because we've been working on it in a piecemeal fashion. Really going through each part and piece individually to really make sure it comes to the end user looking professional and very artistic, something that feels good to even just look at without even reading. Um, I really appreciate the way that our art team, Lauren especially, puts together these different things and the way they format it. So it really is something that you enjoy looking at, and then it almost pulls you into the setting in and of itself. To see everything in one place is probably what I'm most excited about, and to know that I had a little bit to do with that coming to fruition. So that's what I'm most excited about.
I think, yeah, I'll go ahead and go next. I'm super excited. I mean, I'd pick everything. It's hard to pick just one thing, but I'm extremely excited to finally get this into your hands and see what you guys think. I can't wait to see the comments, good and bad. I know there's always people out there with an axe to grind, but that's fine. Bring it on. I like to hear how we can improve, but I'm also excited because I think you guys are gonna love how awesome it is. It rocks. It's stuff I want to use in my campaign, and I know you'll like it too. The stories are fun. I can't wait to share them with you. So that's where my excitement goes.
Yeah, I say some of the same things that Lauren and Kurt have said. But I think the monsters, all the creatures are coming together really nice. I do like how robust the lore is with them. At times, we've kind of as a group said, maybe there's this not this much is said typically in normal monster manuals about a creature, but I think for us it was not trying to do the same thing as other books, trying to be different and try to make it dynamic, and so I'm happy with how a lot of the art, a lot of the lore, a lot of the abilities, and again in play testing, characters died quite a bit from Lauren was throwing a lot at parties and things, and so getting to see how some of these monsters would react and work in some campaign settings, and so I've had a lot of fun, and I'm happy to see it's all coming together, and we really want to make sure that we fulfill what we said we were out to do, and we're excited to get the feedback.
Well, I think that is everything for today's episode. We appreciate everyone's support, for your patience, and for being as excited as we are to bring this content to your homes. Have a wonderful night.
See you, everybody.
See ya.
Thanks.